All right, welcome back. This is Nate with our Top Engineering and Products podcast. Today we have KC with Canopy, who's the Director of Product Marketing, here to talk to us today. KC, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I have been entrenched in the Silicon Slopes. I don't know if we were envious of Silicon Valley or something, but Silicon Slopes is the tech community in Utah, and I've been around the block through quite a few companies here in Utah. Started in sales enablement, which I like to refer to as like the sales or sister role to product marketing, and transitioned into product marketing about 5 years ago and have loved it. I love being the coupler between R&D and go-to market as a product marketer. So it's been a good career
Nice.
opportunity for me.
Yeah, I'm in Austin now, and they call it Silicon Hills,
Oh my gosh,
which,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But no, I'm actually really excited to talk to you because we've been talking a lot to like the super technical side. And for what my team does at Maven, we tend to work mostly with actually people like you who are connecting engineering and go to market. And so sort of enabling marketers to execute with dev, especially as companies grow and your internal engineering is going off and building product. So you're our first product marketer. So it's
Cool. Happy to
exciting.
be
Yeah.
here.
So, what are you seeing now in the marketing side of the house, especially with all the changes with AI and everything coming out the door with vibe coding and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, um, AI wasted no time. It came straight for the jugular with marketing, content
But
marketing.
now but now everything looks like AI slop. You can tell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's been an interesting journey in marketing because generative AI, one of the best use cases is writing. And that's a lot of marketing, especially if you've been able to learn and hone your prompts and like train a model really well, you can gain a lot of efficiencies with AI as a marketer. In fact, I actually just thought the other day, I was like, I haven't even spoken to my content colleagues and asked them how they're doing.
Do you think everybody's adopting it, or are they just scared, or some people
I
not doing it because they're scared?
I'm not sure. I think a lot of people are because again, I think the barrier to entry with this type of use case with generative AI is pretty low. And as a product marketer, I was really frustrated with AI for quite a while. I was like, it's not saving me time. It's just
Mm,
taking time. And it took me a while to realize AI isn't necessarily going to speed up my job, but I, as an enabler, as a go-to-market enabler, right? I'm that coupler between R&D. I need to help decode the technical. I need to simplify it. I document a lot. And one of the best things you can utilize when it comes to AI is proprietary data. And product marketing is a warehouse, if you're doing it right, of proprietary data.
You mean in the sense of like, maybe you use segment and send a bunch of data to a data lake. You mean that kind of proprietary
No.
data? Oh, I see.
No, I
So
mean,
what do you mean?
we are the creators of a crap ton of documentation.
Oh, I see.
We create message frameworks, we do competitive research, we do persona research, we own win-loss. So
Uh-huh.
though we aren't documenting that, we have transcripts from win-loss calls. And then you can bring in gong calls, chorus calls, recordings of any sort of transcript, right? That all of that proprietary data, that
I see.
understanding of no AI model, I want you to think about it this way. I'm priming you to understand what I as a human have already been able to distinguish as differentiators, as objections, as the distinct value prop that I'm going to go to market with. And now that I have gathered this competitive intelligence, or for example, I created a custom GPT for
Uh-huh.
competitive intelligence. And that has been, from anecdotally, from what I understand, because I don't see analytics, unfortunately, adopted fairly well across the organization. And I even can then go in and say, hey, there's this new entrance into the market. And this is where I think it's going to start to save me as a product marketer time because I've already built this custom GPT. I've already primed it with Canopy differentiation and my key competitors. Hey, here's this new entrant. I don't want to go do my hours and hours of research.
Hmm.
Given what you already know about Canopy and our competitive landscape, what's your best assessment? Or even like I've seen people use prompts of like, hey, I want you to take 5 personas and kind of take this at an argument and give me all of the angles as if you were, and you can list off different personas as well. That's a fun
That's
way.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've used it, both personally and professionally, but to me that's almost like me telling ChatGPT to remember things about me,
Yeah.
but use in a business context. Like here's our personas, here's how we evaluate people and deals. Interesting. I haven't heard of any well, actually, even some of the technical people we've talked to, I haven't heard of anyone building their own GPTs for internal use yet like that.
If you
Yeah,
are a highly documented individual and you are not
yeah,
making custom GPTs, I did just find out
because
that
it's like searching your own brain even.
yes,
Yeah,
100%, or even enabling someone else to search my
right,
brain.
right.
Because that's another big thing that is
Mm.
really hard is like for
How
each
do you
sorry, go ahead.
No, continue. Sorry.
Okay. So for example, for each, we have like 8 or 9 top competitors. We've created upwards of 20 to 40 pages of documentation of us product marketers knowing what we know about Canopy, analyzing this competitor thoroughly. No one's going to read that. I don't want
Yeah.
anybody to read that.
Yeah.
But I put that on the back end of a custom GPT, and I can then say, hey, sales rep, quit asking me what's on competitor one's roadmap. I watched their roadmap and I put it in that overview document. Go to the custom GPT and say, what's on competitors' roadmap and how do I need to differentiate us against that? Or
Wow.
yes,
That's great.
help me write an email. This prospect is considering this competitor pretty seriously. What strengths of Canopies can I highlight to convince them to take a second look at us?
That's crazy. That's awesome. So that's a two-part question now for you. So can you tell a little bit more about Canopy and maybe the go-to-market motion? So like
Yeah.
how that's integrated into ChatGPT, and then how you implemented it. Did you have technical people helping you? Did you just do it all by yourself? Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about
Okay.
that.
Well, hopefully I can remember all of that and do it succinctly. That's
Mm.
the task,
That's why
right?
we need ChatGPT, right? Just
Like, can you summarize what I'm saying as I'm
You
saying it?
just pull up your custom GPT and we'll
Yeah.
ask questions.
Okay, so Canopy is practice management for accountants is our category. So we sell to just one industry, and that is public accounting firms that are anywhere from a single person upwards of 400 employees. And this is not your KPMGs, but maybe like a tier or two down from that. You've got lots of local accounting firms that are helping small businesses, high net worth individuals, stuff like that. And they need a place for those clients to go to. So we have a client portal, which helps manage a ton of interactions. Document exchange, you're exchanging sensitive information. Don't do it over email. Everybody, if you're emailing your accountant, stop. Ask them for a secure exchange. It's invoicing, billing, it's a CRM, it's project management, all of those things in one tool specifically for accountants. Now, for go-to-market stuff, right? As we now are looking at our roadmap, and I mean, I've been doing this for ages, right? This is the definition of go-to-market enablement. It's taking release notes, a PDR. Oh my goodness, what does PDR stand for? I'm blanking.
PRD.
PRD, thank you, PRD. Product release document. There we go. I'm talking too fast now. You take that information that a product manager has built to define scope, and it's highly technical. You're ensuring that the engineers are understanding things right, but that's way too technical for any of my go-to-market people.
Yeah.
So I need to distill that information. And, in some instances, a product manager is doing competitive intelligence as well. They should be for inspiration, for best practices. What do we like? What do we not like? Guidance for engineering. But then I also still do competitive intelligence. I'm monitoring the market, but then I'll do specific competitive intelligence for release to help me ensure that we are differentiating appropriately. Something that I just started this year that I'm incorporating into this motion now is product launch themes, because the market doesn't care
Yeah.
about a small release,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the market does care about an outcome. And then it also helps marketing be more strategically noisy about fewer things so that we can cast our net deeper, which we all know is a better
And
mode of execution. Cast your
do
net
y'all
wide.
do pay paid at all, like advertising, or is
Oh,
it, yeah, and so for these size customers, is it a lot of like a mix of kind of paid and outbound, or is it a lot of like hitting the phone sales, or
we only started an outbound motion maybe a year ago.
interesting? And
Yeah.
how do you see that different, from the product marketing perspective? Like, is it hugely different or kind of the same?
I mean, it's enabling I mean, every organization calls them something different, ADM,
Yeah,
SDR, ADR, whatever it is, right?
yeah.
It's enabling them to make sure that they understand the highest level value props because they just need to get people in the door, right? And it's okay, what marketing resources can I get them to use, case studies, what upcoming webinars, right? And we feed them things like that with marketing, the marketing funnel.
And how big is Canopy? Because it sounds like the operation is pretty sophisticated.
We're just shy of 200. We might
Okay.
be 200 now.
Yeah, that's a nice size. I
Yeah.
feel like 1 to 500 is the fun time at a
Yeah,
company.
I
Yeah.
agree. I joined when we were about 120, 150. We stayed at 150 for quite a while, and then we just raised a Series C and hired like
Oh well.
uh, 25 in R&D. So
Fun.
yeah,
Congrats. Yeah.
yeah,
That's when it gets busy.
yeah, seriously. And so that go-to-market motion does have to be a lot tighter now. And that's where too,
Mhm.
like we accidentally stumbled upon this idea of launch themes because roadmap was taking too long to actually be baked and for me to say, hey, marketing, here are the things we can talk about. I was like, no, I can give them themes. I mean, a content calendar isn't going to be based off releases anyway. A content calendar needs to be more
Uh,
unified around
And
ideas.
more unified around the brand, perhaps too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
outcomes
Mhm.
and releases charged
Plus,
towards
plus the
outcomes.
sales guys aren't going to know what the tech stuff is anyway.
No, and we're getting so robust at this point that we're still on monthly quotas. It's still a pretty quick sales cycle.
And are they, $1,000 contracts, 50,000, 100,000, like spanning the board? Kind of just
Yeah,
depends.
so our average user price is about 1,000, 1,500, and we just had our first, it was like $4,000 shy of $100,000. It was so
Oh wow,
close.
nice,
And that is our biggest deal to date, and that was just like 3 or 4 days ago.
awesome,
But our
congrats.
sweet spot is probably in that like 20 to 30K.
And so if it's like $1,000 a head, that means it's like 20, 30 people at the firm ish. Yeah,
About.
I see. Cool.
Yeah.
Those are
Yep.
fun.
Yeah. Anyway, lots of things to go on now, right? And we got to simplify it for not just our market, but our go-to-market people as well,
Mhm.
mostly CX and sales, because it's already a lot to demo, and and our buyer is rather technical or at least rather particular.
They're
Um,
accountants.
Yeah, so it's fun. But yeah, the
That's cool.
custom GPTs, I've done several now.
Uh-huh.
Competitive intelligence is a great one, and I'm actually gonna make the rounds and go to product and sales and guide them on
And
use cases or like best practice prompts so that they know how best to use it.
and high level for me, like how you implement it, is it really just feeding it like kind of documents and like instructions and then letting people search through it across the org? And
Yeah, yeah.
and is the data proprietary? You just feeding it to ChatGPT?
Yeah, mostly the more proprietary information you have, the better, because you have to think about limiting its creativity. Because the
Right.
thing with AI is you can give it the exact same prompt twice and you'll get two different answers. But you'll get better answers the more streamlined, the more
Just like stay in your lane, chatty. Yeah.
yes, exactly. And so I can upload documents on the back end. And this is where I'm wondering if ChatGPT is still the best AI tool because I'm limited to static documentation, which I hate.
So you can't give it like a wiki that's constantly being updated. Yeah.
So I have to export my Google Docs to PDFs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm limited by the amount of documents I can upload on the back end.
Right.
Whereas with like Notebook LM or Gemini, I'm starting to play with more. I can link directly to the live resource, but I can't train it. Notebooks, I
Mm.
can't train the way I train a custom GPT, but I did just find just last week that Gemini has gems, which I think is their equivalent of a custom GPT. So come back to me in a couple weeks and ask
Yeah,
me
it's all
how it went.
changing so fast
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
I think right now it's probably like too difficult to do this, but it reminds me of how you used to have on-premise servers back in the day before the cloud was a thing, and it's like it seems maybe it's a little too there's too much friction right now to do that, but I feel like eventually companies are going to want like the ability to have all the LLMs, all proprietary, like local. So it's, not in the cloud or not anywhere weird. But then if ChatGPT gets not as good as Gemini, you just can switch to Gemini and move back and forth between them.
Yeah, as long as I think like data cleanliness is going to matter more than ever. It always
Mhm.
has mattered, but not just data cleanliness, but data robustness. Because
Right.
again, the more proprietary information you have, the more queries you can make, the more understanding you can have, the more information the AI has to then answer your questions.
Sounds like you should be giving talks on marketing and AI.
I'm flattered. Thank you.
No, I'm serious. Yeah, I think it would be interesting because I think, like at Maven, it kind of went through a few phases where, I started playing around with it and then my co-founder was like, no, this is totally stupid. And then like he kind of started adopting it. And to be fair, at the beginning, it seemed stupid, but you could
It
sort of
did. I
see,
told you that. I
yeah,
like,
you could see where it's going though. Yeah, exactly. And so then we started to think about, using it on different projects. And I enjoy it for like summarization as well as like cleaning up instructions, all that kind of stuff. And then we realized, I wonder if our devs are using this. And I think some people were on the team were hesitant to say, oh, yeah, I have been using it. And so as soon as we brought it up and made it okay, it went very quickly from like nobody's talking about it to everybody's talking about it.
yeah,
And then our next step was, if you're not using it now, you're required to try it and we're going to
yeah,
pay for it. And
100%.
yeah, and that all that happened in 2-3 months.
Yeah. Isn't that
Yeah.
funny? And I mean,
Yeah.
3.0 came out, what, 2 years ago now? And I feel like that was where it's like anybody could now use AI. It was
Hmm.
groundbreaking. I know AI was there before, but like it just wasn't really approachable or wasn't helpful or like
Exactly.
unless you were really nerdy and you were that like 1% early adopter innovator, you weren't gonna touch it.
Yeah,
It
the chat form factor changed everything, even though it's simple.
yeah. Yeah, it's been awesome. And like I said, like I've finally gotten to the point where the big use cases for me have been how can I create something that saves other people time? And I want to encourage my content team to use my custom launch GPTs to say like, no, this is what I want you to talk about. I've researched the market relative to our roadmap. These are the things we need to start seeding in our content preemptive to these
Right.
releases. But now it is finally saving me time as a product marketer too, like I told you, where
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
train something well enough that it knows how I'm going to think about differentiation. So again, if a new competitor comes in, or and which we're getting a lot now, especially with AI. So
Yeah, I was
just
going to ask you about that too. It's like SaaS companies seem, it could go either way, where like maybe 6 months, a year from now, you can just chat and be like, I want a micro SaaS for accounting. And now, it's implemented.
yeah,
I think people don't even want to cook their own food. They're not going to make their own software, like I don't,
so good. You make a really good point there,
like,
but
yes, is it possible? Yeah, sure. But, we also
yeah.
have DoorDash.
Yeah, fair. And you're
Yeah.
talking to someone who loves cooking, and
Same. Yeah.
maybe that's why too. I also
Maybe
I
that's
see
why
it.
you're cooking your own GPTs.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I just see it as there's just enough fear in me to be like, I can't sit on this. I'm
Yeah,
not
you got to try.
necessarily, yeah, I'm not necessarily scared for my job. There are people out there who are really kind of leaning into that fear. And I'm like, guys, the world is not coming to an end. We just
Mhm.
got to know how to use this and quit.
Yeah.
I don't like using fear as a motivator,
Yeah.
but there's definitely enough in there for me to be like, I can't sleep on it. I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah, it'd be like if you didn't learn to use Excel and you were in
Yeah.
finance 20 years
Yes.
ago. It's like, well, you can't just keep using paper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has it impacted how you think about hiring for your team? Are you slowing things down or maybe thinking about candidates differently?
No, I mean, I need them to know how to use AI. Like that would
Of
be a
course, yeah.
huge qualification. But there are just some aspects, product marketing in particular, like I need your ability to discern. And to grind. We do a
Hmm.
lot of research, a lot of digging, a lot of
So like
discernment.
hard working, critical thinking versus
Yeah.
just like
The
somebody who
thing,
can
yeah,
execute what somebody else tells them what to do
yeah.
because we have AI for
AI
that.
is not going to critically think for
Yeah.
you. It's
Right.
not. And
Exactly.
our teenagers are going to learn that really fast in
Hmm.
a really hard way if they try
Hmm.
to lean too much on it in their primitive years and they don't develop critical thinking skills. AI
Yeah.
can do that because, again, like I said, you can give it the same prompt and it'll give you different answers every time.
And now how do you know which is right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I need someone who can critically think and again create proprietary information or help feed the Canopy proprietary information machine that we
Hmm.
then pull from. Because
Hmm.
again, like you're going to forget things. Like there's a reason why our competitive intelligence documents are 20 to 40 pages because I can't remember everything for our top competitors, but I'm
So you
going
have
to
to write it down.
document the crap
Yeah.
out of it. Yeah. And then every time I go to refresh it, it's easy to see, oh, what progress have they made or what indicators am I seeing? I could even probably, I haven't done this yet. I'm going to go do this after this call. I can dump in all of my overview documents and say, tell me the things that are most commonly added in my competitive landscape in the last 6 months and kind of use that as a direction to be like, hey, I try not to do this with product. I don't want to say, let's look left and right and make our roadmap based on that.
Hmm.
But also, like, they're doing their own customer research. So, are there trends? Is there a
Right.
trend? Yeah.
Yeah, I do think it's great at like pointing out trends, especially from large data sets where it would be either cumbersome or like very difficult to find a trend. You can just drop it in and ask, show me where the trends are at. No,
Yes.
this has been great. I know we're coming up on time, so I want to make sure if there's anything you wanted to share about Canopy or any advice for the kids out there.
Oh, just document well. And
Yeah.
the nice thing now is like, you don't have to be a good note taker. You don't have to be a summarist.
Yeah, I feel like we could go on about this, but now the Fathoms and the AI meeting summaries, but now I remember less about the meeting because I didn't take any notes because the AI took the notes.
Yeah,
But
I
I
just
can,
think
but
that
I can go back and rewatch it and read the summary over and over.
yeah, I mean, and to that point, I do still think there's a place for if you're a hand note taker, just
Hmm.
helping you comprehend and internalize what's going on. But you don't need to do the note taking for the information gathering. You need to do the note taking for the comprehension. It's a
Right, right,
different purpose now. Or not, it's
totally.
not dual purpose,
Right,
but just document.
right.
Anytime you can capture proprietary information, capture it. And even if it's messy, capture it. Because what is AI good at? Summarizing,
Bacons. Hmm.
making sense of rambling stuff, bringing cohesion. But again, unless you're giving it those swim lanes, AI is just going to give you a different answer every time.
Yep, totally. Well, thank you so much, Casey. This has been great.
Yeah. Thank you, Nate.